Hi, this is Becky Coward, Coryell County 4-H Extension Agent in Gatesville, Texas, wanting to talk a little bit about record books for 4-H. Now, this is a subject that recently became near and dear to my heart as my 4-H member, my son Kyle, was a senior in high school this year. Y'all, we literally used our 4-H record book from his previous years and turned that into his scholarship applications. And fortunately, he was really successful in receiving quite a few scholarships because we had everything written down in his 4-H record book. So I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the importance of record books, why we do record books, why you should start them early, and what is actually involved in a 4-H record book. So there is actually a PowerPoint on the Texas 4-H website that goes through record books and tells you the components of those. So we're going to break that down a little bit today and talk about it. But there's also some important resources on the website. One of those being the Texas 4-H Family Guide to Record Books. And this was updated this fall. It's for 2019-2020. Make sure that you use this family guide because it is your full resource on everything so far as record books. So, talking about 4-H record books, we know that record books have a purpose. The objectives of record books are to write down and tell how you've grown, what you have learned throughout your 4-H career. It also provides a written platform for goal setting so that you can measure your personal growth. It demonstrates the importance of keeping a written document of what has actually been done. And then it provides an opportunity for competition. We do have a 4-H record book competition each year. So what are the steps to the record keeping process? Those are goal setting, journaling, and reflecting. All of those things are an important part of your record book. So what does the record book look like at a glance? There is actually a summary page at the beginning of the family guide that breaks it down for all 3 age categories within our 4-H curriculum. The check sheet, the personal information page, your 4-H story and photo portfolio, and then the 4-H report forms, which includes lots of different sections that we're going to talk about. So here's the check sheet that goes at the front of the record book. You print this out literally from the 4-H website, and it is a checkpoint at various levels of competition for your record book. The personal information page is a page that you complete with your name and information about your local 4-H club and a little bit of information about yourself. It does require the signatures of the members, a parent signature, and then your county agent's signature. So the very first part of the actual record book is your 4-H story and photo portfolio. So in years past, it was always a challenge to gather up photos for your 4-H story. And now that's not the case. With cell phones, you're taking pictures constantly. So you should have lots and lots of pictures of your 4-H experiences throughout the year that you can include in your 4-H story. But what is the 4-H story? It is actually a typed text narrative about yourself, your family, and your community. In the story, you should talk about why you joined 4-H, what are your project goals, starting with your main project, which is actually the category that you're going to enter your 4-H record book into. How 4-H has helped you become a better citizen, a better leader, and how 4-H has helped you set goals and achieve them. Maybe 4-H has even influenced your career choice for the future. So the 4-H story should not be a repetition of what's in the forms that are to come. It should be information that's new. It allows you to be creative and expand upon your 4-H career. And captions for the pictures should tell a story about what's happening in your 4-H career for your story. The combined portfolio should be completed within the page limits listed again in your guide and for your summary for your age division. Text is to be double-spaced, typed using a minimum of a 10-point or equivalent font size. And again, all these parameters are within the family guide. Make sure you look at those. Photos can be placed throughout your record book when it tells a story, which can be effective, or also at the end of your record book. So make sure you include photos that talk about your 4-H year throughout your 4-H story. On to report forms. So the next section of your 4-H record book will be your report forms. And the same form is used for all age divisions. They request the same content. The thing that differs is a little bit in how you enter those and in your the number of entries that you need. Now, 4 projects for seniors are what are included there. Your current year and 3 preceding calendar years. So what does that look like? I have several examples of 4-H members who have done these 4-H project experiences. You want to do something that uses bold type to separate your categories. You want to use bullets and things like this. Sometimes it's a good idea to also use charts and graphs because that shows growth, and then you can talk about what you've where you started and where you're at, so far as growth within your project. You get 4 pages, seniors, for that. The juniors and intermediates get 3 pages, so make sure you pay attention to the parameters of that. But use things that you need to include so far as your project growth on your project pages. The next section, section 2, is leadership. Guys, all of y'all have some 4-H leadership. I know you do. It's not just being a club officer. It's not just elected leadership. It's also volunteer leadership and appointed leadership. So make sure that you put all of your leadership into section 2. And section 2 can include all kinds of things where you were a leader. Maybe you led the 4-H motto, pledge, and prayer at a meeting. Okay, that would be more of a junior level leadership. Or maybe you organized an event. That would be more of like a senior leadership event to record. Make sure, again, you look at the parameters within the guide. The next section is community service. Guys, everybody should have 4-H community service. A lot of you do community service projects at every 4-H club meeting, which is awesome. Your service projects, some of them, you're going to have to dictate your role, whether it be a member, whether you provided the primary leadership for the project, or it's something that you did yourself. An example of some of those would be like cleaning out your closet and donating clothes. Or if you were a member of a group and you worked at the care center, your club volunteered. Primary leadership would be one that you initiated and got started for your club or for yourself or a group. The next section on your forms is other 4-H projects. So if you have more than four 4-H projects from the previous section, in section 1, you would list those other 4-H projects here. Some of you guys have awesome 4-H careers. You have more than 4 4-H projects, so this is where you would list those. The next section is awards and recognition, and it asks you to list those in a table. It wants to know the year, the level, recognition, and one of the most important things is its importance to you. So you need to think about what this honor, this award in 4-H really means to you, and why it's so important. Think about that section because that's really an important part of that. After the awards section are non-4-H activities. This is where you're going to list your involvement maybe in school and church activities that are not 4-H related. I've got Kyle's here. He's got Hay Valley Baptist Church. He's got Gatesville High School, FFA. He's got the Gatesville Riding Club and a member of Texas Farm Bureau and some of the things he's done with those organizations. So that's where that would go. The last section of your record book, the final section, is your college and career exploration. Now, what goes here? Because seniors, you're already doing things to explore somewhat about college, but juniors, you are too. If you've attended contests in 4-H at A&M or Tarleton and toured some of the campus, that would be a great place to list this. If you have juniors or seniors taking the ACT, SAT, if you started taking college hours for dual credit opportunities, all those things are career and college exploration. Or guys, you can jump on websites and do some career exploration, also there. So there's so many different opportunities that you can put in there so far as career exploration. So that is your 4-H record book. Now, again, this is important, guys, because you're going to need it for the future for scholarship applications, but it is also a contest. So what will judges look for? You want to make sure that you're very clear and concise when you actually submit your record book. You want to make sure that they understand what you're talking about. Sometimes I've judged record books where they've used acronyms and I didn't know what it stood for. Make sure that you are specific about that. Your record book score sheet is actually available again on the website, and if you're interested in the judging part of record books and placing it at county, district, and state, this is what you want to look at. Record book covers. So these are both official 4-H record book covers. This is the older style. Kyle used this one in 3rd grade, and we've just hung on to it ever since. This is a newer version, but they're both the same and both very acceptable so far as your record book cover. On other general guidelines, what they're looking for, most of them need to be typed. It's just neater that way. But you're going to fill out some when you do signatures and things, so handwriting is important. Creativity. Creativity is probably the biggest thing that 4-H record books are judged upon. We want you to show us creatively how you've grown and what you've learned. So as a judge, that's really important. These are just changes that have taken place. The categories have been updated, and that's probably not something that everybody realizes, but they were updated this past year. These are the categories, and they're also, again, listed in your family guide. So make sure that you understand that the family guide has the categories listed. They're not directly tied to 4-H projects all of the time. So you need to look at and see what category best suits your main 4-H project. So there's a whole list of winners for 4-H record books on the website, and we've had the opportunity to send 3 record books to state this past year. Coryell County is, and I'm really proud of those kids, but lots of things involved there. Janet Barrett works at the state 4-H office and as a 4-H specialist, and she is the guru on record books. So if you have questions that I cannot answer, Janet is going to be a big source of help for that. But guys, the main thing is it's a little bit intimidating when you first start out with record books, but I would strongly encourage you to get the guide, read through it, come by the office and you can get a 4-H record book cover and just ask questions, because you will thank me in the end. I've had numerous parents thank me when their kids got 4-H scholarships because they had it all written down. It sure helps things. So, again, if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me at the County Extension office. Let's get started on those record books.